Hey guys, Comet here. Welcome to episode 6 in my Needy Duplicant series. Sorry it's been so long since I've gotten a video out. Just been plagued with technical difficulties along with visiting family for the holidays. This is actually my third time trying to record this. So I have a little bit of an idea of what I want to get done and how I want to go about it. But the last episode we got the carnivore achievement, which was a really big deal. Takes a lot of pressure off. In this episode, I'll be getting down into the oil biome, and I need to start managing heat up here. And the way I'm going to do that is just by deconstructing these incubators, actually. Now, if I don't have incubators here for the eggs, then I'm going to need a way to get the eggs out of these ranches, because there's no... the dupes won't take them out and put them up here, so I'm going to need automation to take care of that. So one of the first things I want to do is go into solid management here so that I can pick up the loader, the rails, and all this solid management stuff. Then I want to deconstruct half of the incubators. I'm going to keep this half over here for now, just to bridge the gap between these eggs hatching naturally over here. Because the incubators just reduce the latency between the laying and the hatching. But once you get through that initial latency period, you get full throughput anyway. So I want to mitigate some of that latency by keeping some of the incubators, but still removing the other half. And then I also want to round off, or well, I guess it would be square off, this corner of the base here. This has been bugging me for a while. And that'll give a better location for the hydrogen to pile up, so I want to move this gas pump into this area. And potentially get in another generator, actually. Now, removing these incubators will alleviate some of the power problems, but it will also slow me down in getting the super sustainable achievement. Still trying to get this one. Oh, and I should also mention there have been a couple of changes since it took me so long to get this video out. There was a November update, and I think the biggest thing that I have to worry about right now is how it affected the Great Hall that used to be here. Or, well, this still is a Great Hall, but it only gives 4 morale now. In order to get the +6, you have to make a banquet hall, and that requires a new building called the communal table. So I might need to redo my Great Halls here if morale does become a problem. I could also think about maybe expanding this for more massages, in case things do become really problematic. But we will tackle that when it becomes a problem. And I do want to focus more on sage hatches now than pips. So I'm going to... This was just kind of like my old kill chamber here. I want to turn this into a hatch farm, or hatch ranch. So I'm just going to copy these settings down here. Hatches give twice as much meat as pips. I just need the pips to feed the hatches. And I'll probably work out a proper ratio later on, once I get the base to completely sustainable. New duplicant. And, oh, this is new. This inspect thing. That, I think, is for a new point of interest, or a story trait point of interest, which you can enable on generation. But since this map was made before that was implemented, I think I can just ignore this. We will just go with the oxyfern seed. I could think about taking on another duplicant. I think maybe getting someone to help out with building Might be a good idea. I will be doing a lot of building in this episode. Trying to get, yeah, that thing that just researched. All of these rails, it's going to take a while to build them. But the general idea is just going to be a center rail here that's going to drop the eggs right here. And I'm going to close these doors and then move these guys into here. That way we can get some free cuddles. And the eggs as well. I need to relocate those manually. And what happened to you? How did you get so hurt? Huh. Let's make a quick hospital bed. I'm actually going to move this rock crusher. I'm going to put it up in this area. I'm actually going to get a couple. And then maybe redo some of this wiring. Alright, so triage cot I can just put right there. I'm not going to make a full-on hospital. I just need a place for Stinky to recover. So I can repurpose a lot of this aluminum that I got back from the incubators for the refined metals I need to put in all these sweepers. But I am going to need more. So let's get this one going. And let's get this one going. And then this one here, I just want it to do all of the constant stuff. And I'm actually going to put these on a higher priority. That way the special tasks get done, and then once those are done, they'll go back to doing the generic ones. So I need these sweepers to overlap by one tile. So this spot right here, and then this spot right here. Okay, it takes 3 to cover it. And then the loader will go right in that overlapping tile. And now, I can't actually just connect straight on here. There's still a bug, I think it's a bug at least, where if you were to just do this, for some reason this junction then limits the output, and it's really annoying. It's been around for a really long time, and I don't know why Clay hasn't patched it yet, but if you just bridge on to the main manifold line, then it avoids that problem. And for power, I think I'm just going to run the wire along there like that. Oh, well, what happened? Where's all of our power? Oh, we just don't have any more hydrogen. Okay, let's get this moved up to here. This was the plan anyway. That up to there. And then maybe add in another battery. Run that along to there. And then I can get rid of that. Okay, this gas pump will help out with power production. Get this running again. That's not good. Because I really don't like the fact that I have duplicates running here in hydrogen. I guess I could move these down here, but realistically they shouldn't even be running on them. I have a source of hydrogen down here that I found last episode. Alright, this is running again. Hydrogen's flowing. And I put this bridge here because I want to prioritize the hydrogen from the SPOM. If this backs up with hydrogen, then it'll start flowing out of the oxygen pipes, and that things get gross. Alright, then for the settings on these, I'm just going to do all. And yeah, just everything. Copy that to there. That way even the dirt gets picked up. I'll just extend this design down. And in hindsight, if these farms, or if these ranches were oriented vertically instead of horizontally, it would take a lot less of these auto sweepers. But for now, I'm kind of just stuck with them. Ooh, okay, this is an important duplicate. I need someone who can help out with the building. So let's re-roll one of these. See, I don't know what personality I want. I don't want a Liam. Liam is always my artist. Could do an Ellie. Lyra. Max? Maybe a Max? Ooh, you're new. Hello. I think you're part of the Neutronium pack, actually. Let's take you. Yeah, the Regal Neutronium uniform. You look interesting. Let's just edit your traits a little bit here. So my builders always have building, of course, supplying, and operating. Where is operating? Then for the traits, we're gonna do buff, grease monkey, handy, and then everyone is getting twinkle toes. And then the negative traits, what this entire series is about, biohazardous, bottomless stomach, and mouth breather. And then that makes a balanced duplicate. Alright, we'll go ahead and print Senna. Let's change your priorities. So I want you to help out with building. Now, I don't feel great about turning half of my aluminum into sand via the rock crushers. But my only other option would be the refinery, the metal refinery. Where is that? Under smelting. I do have it already, but I don't have a good place to put it yet, and all of the heat that it makes, I don't have a good way of dealing with it either. So, really, I have to just get down to the oil biome before I can manage heat effectively. Plastic for steam turbines, really the only way to go. I do have this geyser over here that I found. I think it was the last episode. This produces brine at -10. So I could set up some cooling loop with that, but I don't really want to release all of this slime lung into my base. I think I might want to wait for Atmos suits before I do that. Now, something that's been really bugging me for a while is all of this chlorine down here. I don't know if I should just pump it into some gas reservoirs, or just leave it alone. I don't know if it's worth it. Now that I have these auto sweepers in place, my duplicates shouldn't be down here all that much. And the eye irritation they get from it really just decreases athletics, which I think is almost completely offset by Twinkle Toes anyway. So this gives a -4, and then Twinkle Toes gives a +3. So it's not that big of a deal, I don't think. I just don't like the way the mixed gases look. And this hydrogen over here is bugging me as well, but that's just because of this vent down here. I kind of need it to percolate up through the base to drop off its heat before it goes up into here, because it comes out of here at like 500. Yeah, 500, that's really hot. New printable, let's see. I could just take the Buddy Bud. I don't think I need another duplicate. I've got, let's see. I've got 2 more beds here. And how would I support that with oxygen? So these make... we'll just round that to 800 to make the math easier. So 8 times 4 is 32. So that's 3.2 kilograms from these 4 electrolyzers. And 1 duplicate takes 200? Why is that 230? Oh, yucky lungs. Okay. Yeah, so 200 for the normal duplicate without the debuff. So that means 1 electrolyzer could do 4 duplicates, and 4 times 4 is 16. So I could fill up these 2 beds and still have enough oxygen production. So I have a digger, a builder, researcher, rancher, 2 chefs, rancher, doctor, operator, supplier, and builder. I think I want another operator. Maybe we take an Ari here. And I'll get you set up for my builder operator. So this should look basically identical to Senna. Alright, let's go ahead and print Ari. And then you will be operating. That should help this get done just a little bit faster. And I think we might actually be able to just start laying the groundwork for this side. So it'll be just the same thing, only mirrored. Now I can't do the same bridge thing here because the outputs will interfere with each other, so I need to just drop it down one, and then I can do the same thing there. Now I can't overlap the bridges by putting it here, because then the piece that connects the end of the bridge jumping over here, that into there, would cause the same problem as the old junction would, so it has to be a bridge like this. Now for power, this is connected to more than just the sweepers down here, so I think what I might do is actually power it from here and then separate these two power grids. Because I want this transformer to be dedicated just to the sweepers here. But these are looking nice and clean now. The eggs are being whisked away without any duplicate labor. And then they should just start hatching naturally over here. We've got a couple of pipsqueaks. That means I can probably get rid of some of these incubators here. Don't need quite so many now. Yeah, I think I'm probably just gonna take the mushrooms. I think we're good on duplicates for a while. They've almost finished this down here, so getting an extra builder at this point wouldn't really do that much. And then for the last bit of aluminum I need down here, I'm just gonna get it from these incubators. I don't need this many anymore. I'll remove all of them, or well, I'll probably just keep one for each egg type. Once I see these eggs here just hatching naturally, then I know that latency period is over, and I can maintain throughput without the incubators. Because throughput is really determined just by how quickly the critters lay eggs, not how quickly they hatch. So it could take the full 100 cycles. You just have to wait that latency period. The incubators reduce that latency period, so they're good for getting a farm started. But once it's going, you don't really need them anymore. Alright, and that was the last one there. Now I can start thinking about how I want to go about expanding and getting down into the oil biome. So it's probably best if I were to put a Atmos suit checkpoint in this area, because getting oxygen down to the way bottom would be annoying at best. So I'm going to set up some doors to control permissions. I don't need these ladders. I'll replace that. I don't even think I have them unlocked. Let's get Rowan researching. Where are they? Yes, hazard protection here. You know, we could actually go all the way to personal flight. No, maybe just the transit tubes. But I can start putting in some of the piping required to keep the docks full of gas. And I'll really show how powerful this manifold system is that I put in a few episodes ago. Because I can replenish any two docks simultaneously with this setup. I've also got this third pipe here. I think I'm actually just going to run this one down. And then I'll have it go into that and that. It's getting a little messy here, but I'll try and explain what's happening. So the two manifold pipes here will have gaps on them. So this third pipe via bridges will go ahead and fill those gaps. So just run along this way. I'm not too sure where or how many docks I'm going to put in, but I know I'm going to have one slot for the checkpoint, and then the input is pretty sure the bottom tile. So actually I can't do this. What I need to do is this. Then this can be replenished from the top pipe or the bottom pipe, and then those will just connect up like that. So this maintains throughput across all of the docks, and it doesn't matter which two docks get, or which two docks need to be replenished. But while I'm waiting for that to finish researching, I think I'm going to put in a recreation room right in here, because I've got this jukebox I can put in. And to turn this into a rec room, just needs the recreational building and a decor building, so flower pot should work just fine here. Something like that. Alright, now this is classified as a rec room. And you know what? So that my duplicates can actually take advantage of that, I'm gonna give them one extra downtime slot. I wonder who's gonna be the first to dance. Alright, but that sounds like, yep, there is the Atmos suits. So we'll get the checkpoint in. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish docks should be fine. And was I right about the input? I was. Excellent. And I think these take power too. Yeah, so I'll just run some power over like that. Now these aren't very helpful without the suits, so we need to make a forge. That requires 400 refined metal, so let's do 2. Oh no, that only makes 500, so I need to do 4. And there we go. I hear dancing. It's Marie. Marie got the first one. But she is starving. Cannot reach food. Maybe we kill off a few more of these. I'm glad I didn't get rid of all of the incubators. This hasn't quite caught up yet. Come on, I got 3 starving duplicants. Hurry up. I believe in you. Well, that solves one of them. Alright, Higgby's gonna get the second one here. And then... okay, we're good. I should probably get a auto sweeper set up here too, so that my chefs don't have to run and grab food. So I'll put it right there. That way it can reach everything here. And then I will enable meat on the refrigerator. That way, instead of running and grabbing one piece to do the errand, Bubbles, I'm pretty sure that is my supplier, can just take the whole stack, move it into the refrigerator, and then the sweeper will move the small pieces, and the chef doesn't have to do anything other than cook. Alright, but if we take a look at how this is working here, so these 2 pipes are empty, so this third pipe here is bridging over to fill this one up. Occasionally there's some oxygen there, so that it goes into both pipes, but then these bridges here, if you notice, those 2, yeah, right there, it can fill up 2 at a time, assuming both of these pipes are saturated, and it doesn't matter which 2, because all of these are connected to all of the pipes. Alright, but let's get in this forge here. Get some Atmos suits queued up, and we'll just make them out of aluminum. Oh, I need reed fiber, forgot about that. Well, I have these over here that I tried to grow, but they're too warm. Yeah, this area is cooler. I think I'll just do something like this. And then dig out some space here. Then for supplying the polluted water, I'll run it back up this way. Like this. And then if I just snip that, this will back up and it'll just bypass it. All of the extra polluted water can go over here. I could re-enable this, actually. I just have that snipped. That'll bring in some more polluted water. Alright, looks like we've got our first Atmos suit here. So then we'll get it delivered down to here. And I don't think just hacking a ladder straight down is the best approach. I want to try a zigzag pattern. Because then it'll only require a digger. That would be Stinky. And he can just keep working and hopping back and forth. Because if I issue a bunch of ladder commands, then the builder is the one that will do the digging. And they only do it one at a time. So they'll grab the material, place it, dig it out, build it, go grab more material, and then do the next one. And they'll go one by one in series, which kind of sucks for ladders. But in this case, Stinky could do this in series without having to go back to grab material. Let's see if that works in theory. Yeah, so he just keeps going. I think that's probably going to be the quickest way down. And I don't have to worry about airflow, because he's in an Atmos suit. Now, I'm going to try and use this salt vine to get rid of all of this chlorine down here. So somewhere in the middle-ish, I guess right here is fine. I could dig over, grab these two, but that'll release sour gas. I could go grab these two. That'll just release carbon dioxide. It's less gross. So we'll dig out... We'll dig out right here. And I'll have to ladder over to that one. Alright, and these guys, what they do, if we look at the database entry, they take sand and chlorine gas, and they produce salt. Yeah, so chlorine, sand, turns into salt. And I don't really need the salt, but I just want to get rid of the chlorine. And this is a passive way of getting rid of it. I think it's better than putting down a gas pump and pumping the chlorine into tanks. But how are we doing here? Alright. Ooh. Hello. Now, I do know where this water is coming from, because, like I said, I had to redo this episode many times. Yeah, it's coming from this cool steam vent, but what is this? That's ice. How is that possible? Well, we'll dig over here, and I'll show you. Watching the dupes run around when they're idle because they have no idea what to do is kind of funny. I should probably get them doing something. I mainly just want this to be finished, but only one duplicate can work on this at a time. And I don't want to just start digging out into random locations. Maybe that is what we do, though. I'll dig over to here. Just give him something to do. Oh, and I think that might have revealed another geyser, actually. Let's see, what would be the best way to get here? Maybe just coming along this way? Force them to get to it via the Atmos suit dock rather than dropping a ladder straight down. And I'll dig that out and cancel that one. Yeah, I don't remember seeing this one here, so we'll take a peek at that. Oh, that's a really cool effect. Alright, now I'll take Rowan and move him over to here so we can see. This is why there's ice here. It's right next to an ice biome. So there's just a breach in the abyssalite here where the geyser formed. And so all of this cold stuff is freezing the water over here. And there's also this geyser here. Now, I know what this is, but I'm not going to spoil it. I'll just have someone dig over to there. And having these two right next to each other, I'll give you a hint. It's super convenient. And I think I'm just going to reject this blueprint. I don't even know what this is. A mimlet? This is a seed? Okay, sure. But also just continue this pattern down here. Seems to be working pretty well, actually. And then later I can come back through and put in a proper ladder. I could also send a duplicate over here to try and solve this little puzzle. So this is an AND gate, and this is an AND gate. So to get this door to open, there just needs to be a duplicate on one of all of these sensors. But this one here is locked behind this door, and so to get this one unlocked, I need a duplicate here and a duplicate here. And then I'll get a third one up to there to unlock the final one. Or I could just do that. That also works. Oh, and look at that, another geyser. So let's get... Well, I'll let them demolish that, and then I can just put in the ladder up to there. This will give me a lot of refined metal to work with, too. What are you? An iron volcano. Well, can't use that. Check out what this one is. Let's see, what are you? Gold volcano. Well, there's another thing I can't use. At least for right now. These will be very important later on for renewable metals. But how are we doing down here? Rowan's almost analyzed that. Still working on this. No one's dug that out yet. Do we have any more Atmos suits we can... We got one more here. Someone needs to get that delivered so we can have more people down here working. I'm gonna have to be a little careful here. It's starting to get into the salt water. Okay, let's snip that. Because I don't want to feed... damn it, it already happened. Yep. Salt water got into this supply. Oh, salt water's in that supply. Ah! No! That's gonna take me forever to clean up. I guess I'll just put in a filter here. In this orientation. And then... I guess we can just send it back down that way. So... Let's get the dupes busy on that. That's high priority. And then on this, I will assign... water. Just make sure only water goes in here. And even if I mop up this water here, I don't have a way of dumping it, so it would just stay there in the little bottles. So I'll just deconstruct this whole thing, let the water drop down, and then put it back. Well, I did say the dupes needed something to do. Ah, jeez. And then to keep the Atmos suit docks from breaking, I'm just gonna snip that for now in case we pick up something that isn't the properly filtered gas. Okay, that's fixed. I have the filter here, so that can never happen again. Now I need to fix these things. So I'll just do that. And then to solve the saltwater problem, I'm gonna have to just keep running this output line into... You know what? Let's actually do this. Get rid of these two, and then I'll move the desalinator up to here so that the water that comes out is guaranteed to be clean. So it'll come out of the water sieve and then straight into the desalinator and then up and over. Okay, this should solve my problem now. Let's get rid of the extra piping. Oh, there's one bubble of salt water right there. That's gonna go into the bathroom. Does someone have plumbing? Bubbles! Yeah, let's give you plumbing. Alright, there we go. Now I'll connect that back up. But there's more! Why is there more? So we will take it from here. If I put in a bridge here... No, I just need to redo this whole mess. Things are getting very spaghettified. I'll make the input to the bathrooms run directly off of this line via a bridge before going up into the tanks. That way it's guaranteed to be clean water. And as for these bubbles of salt water, let's get bubbles on that. And then I'll snip it so that it stops moving. So I don't need this piping anymore. Okay, that looks a lot cleaner. And speaking of clean, these have done a fantastic job of cleaning up all this chlorine. How are we doing down here? Ah, yep, so there it is. It's a water geyser. So these two being right next to each other, this comes out at 95. This comes out at 110. But if you look at the mass, this is 8.8. This is we'll call that 4.3. It's basically half. And so the final temperature when these two mix will be right about 100 degrees. So as long as I buffer this water, I can use it to cool off the steam down to liquid temperature, and then pump them both out. That's my long-term plan for this. But for now, I'm just going to leave them open to the atmosphere and vent. Keep going down this way. And it should be pretty close to the oil biome here. Just can't see it. It's just past this darkness. Yes, here it is. Continue this down just a tiny bit further. Alright. Now, I don't think I'll have time to get into putting down oil wells and actually making petroleum. I think I'm going to have to save that for the next episode. I really just wanted to get down into the biome in this episode. I spent a lot of time working on these ranches, putting in the auto sweepers and stuff. I think I just got the... Yes, the slick achievement. Enter an oil biome for the first time. I think I'll dig out a little bit in both directions and count up how many reservoirs I have. I'm pretty sure it's 11. Because, like I said, this is not my first time trying to record this episode. But this portion will go much faster than the vertical portion. And I'm also getting pretty tired of microing this area. So I want to put a little area for meat evolution. Okay. This needs to all go away. Put the dispensers back. I need an auto sweeper to extract the eggs into... Put the loader there. I think I'll just run it straight up into here. Then this auto sweeper is completely isolated. I can do something like this. And then that can just go into there. Okay, so same idea. Just better execution. There we go. Now this is working. So all the eggs will end up in here. And then I won't need to micro this. They'll all just drown, and then the meat will be shipped over to the kitchen. Perfect. The only thing I will need to micro a little bit is the incubators to keep the ranches replenished with new critters. But that's a lot less intensive than trying to precisely issue an attack command while dodging all the cuddle pips. Okay, but back to the oil biome. Dug out a little bit more here. I need to explore in both directions. Oh yeah, there's a forest biome here. Forgot about that. Ah, jeez. We're backing up on hydrogen. So, yeah, some hydrogen is escaping. And if it makes it down to here, it's going to start damaging these. That's just because we're not consuming enough power. I could try and buffer the hydrogen in some tanks. Let's see, where are those? Here they are. I'd have to reroute this. That's kind of annoying. That can come down. And then just over to there, I guess. That'll work. And then go up to here. And then this can be the, well, what do I want to buffer more? Because if I put the secondary input after the buffer, then I can't suck up all of this excess hydrogen here. But if I put it before the buffer, then I still run into the same problem if the buffer's not big enough. Okay, so I decided to bridge on before the buffer, just to try and get rid of some of this hydrogen here. But it'll always be at a lower priority than the hydrogen produced here. So we can track the flow here. So this pipe comes from over here to prevent this. It's going to go into the buffers and then around into the generators. And so if for some reason there's gaps like there are right here, those gaps will be filled up by the excess hydrogen just floating around the base. Okay, but let's check on the oil biome again. Have we gotten all the way to the side? Not quite. Let's keep going. How about the right side? Almost there. I think once I expose the right and left side, probably be the end of this episode. I'm definitely not going to have time to start utilizing the oil wells. That's going to have to wait till next episode, and I think it might also combine well with finding another water supply. Or, well, not finding one, but properly utilizing one. Just because I'm starting to run a little low on water here. Actually, I think the only thing I found was this cool salt slush geyser. Is there another one I missed somewhere? Oh, this one. Yeah, I remember what this one is. We're gonna have to dig up to this one. This one's gonna be important. And then I do have this water here I could use. Alright, here's the edge of the map. Alright, that's what I'm looking for. This neutronium. Then I can start counting up the oil reservoirs. Pretty sure it's 11. Because the plan later on will be to have 2 sour gas boilers and 2 petroleum boilers. Each one running at 1 full pipe. So that's 10 kilograms per second. And 3 oil reservoirs can fully saturate 1 pipe. So if I want 2 and 2, total of 4, then I would need all 12 oil reservoirs. But if I only have 11, then I would need to supplement that with probably slicksters. Now, slicksters, these guys, they're both good and bad. If you use them only for oil production, then their stats are pretty weak. But really, you use them to get rid of carbon dioxide and to make food. The oil is kind of just like a bonus byproduct. So you have to look at it from the other side of the... Okay, so this is the geyser that we really need. It's a polluted water vent, and it makes a lot of water. That's the important thing. I'm not worried about the temperature, I just need the quantity of water. That I can use for more thimble reeds, right in here, or to replenish this water supply, which I'm definitely going to have to do in the next episode. But if we take a look and count up all of the reservoirs, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I think there's 2 more over here. I just need Stinky to dig a little bit further. Yep, so there's 10. We're gonna go right through this geyser. I forgot what this one was. Alright, come on, Stinky. Just this last little bit here. I can feel the edge of the map stopping my camera. I know we're close. This, though, is natural gas geyser. That is actually a very convenient spot for it, because all of the oil wells that I put on top... I don't even have oil wells yet. All of the oil wells that I put on top of the reservoirs will also emit natural gas. So I could just cap off this entire lower section and have this vent into just the atmosphere around it, and just have it combine with all of the other natural gas. Yeah, so here is the last oil reservoir, so it is 11. Let me double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, there's 11. Okay, so we are going to need a slickster farm later on, just to supplement the pipes, get us to 4 full pipes. But I think that's actually all I wanted to get done in this episode. It was taking them a long time to do this just because of the distance they have to travel. That is one really long ladder. Majority of my focus was on the main base here, polishing off the ranches, removing some of the incubators, getting this proper kill chamber in place. But I think that is going to be it for this episode. The next episode will definitely consist of using the oil biome, pumping down some clean water to bring back up some crude oil. I'll also need to replenish this water supply here. It's getting a little low. But once I get into oil, the rest of the map just opens up to me. I can start making steam turbines, really get heat management under control. Maybe even get into transit tubes to improve duplicant travel time. That way I can explore more of the map. I haven't decided if I want to do like one central housing unit for all the duplicants, or do more scattered things close to where they're going to be working. I think on a large map like this, the second approach would be more appropriate, but then I have to figure out the food logistics. Do I have a centralized kitchen, sending food out to all of the little mini housing units? How do I make sure each one gets the proper amount of food? I think that would be pretty interesting to try and solve, because the majority of runs I've done, it's just been like one central housing unit, and it was easy to manage food. But playing on a bigger map presents different challenges. But that's all much later to come. But I'd say that's good progress for this episode. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next episode.